Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Imnur Iza Akbar Al-Fadri from the Information Systems Study Program. In this video, I will explain information infrastructure and operational audits. Information infrastructure and operational audits are a fundamental aspect of information technology governance in the modern digital era. The development of information technology has brought about major changes in the way organizations conduct their activities, whether in government, business, education, or public services. Almost all activities now rely on technology infrastructure, including hardware, software, networks, data centers, and security systems. With such a significant dependency, every organization is required to ensure that this infrastructure operates reliably, securely, efficiently, and aligns with strategic objectives. Audits serve as an evaluation tool to assess whether the information systems used truly meet needs, meet applicable standards, and guarantee security and operational continuity. Without audits, organizations risk facing a variety of serious problems, ranging from technical disruptions and security vulnerabilities to financial and reputational losses. The urgency of audits is increasingly evident in light of the global phenomenon that marks the digital era. Many organizations are experiencing significant losses due to system failures, cyber attacks, and weak infrastructure management. A well-known example is the system failure incident at a major European airline, which resulted in thousands of flight cancellations, millions of dollars in financial losses, and a loss of customer trust. In Indonesia, several financial institutions and public services also frequently experience problems with their digital systems, impacting public services. These cases demonstrate that the management of information infrastructure and operations should not be underestimated. Audits are a strategic solution capable of identifying weaknesses early, providing recommendations for improvement, and ensuring that organizations are prepared to face increasingly complex challenges. In addition to being a preventative measure, information infrastructure and operations audits also have a regulatory compliance dimension. Various national and international regulations require organizations to maintain data security and privacy. In Indonesia, for example, the Personal Data Protection Law serves as the legal basis requiring every electronic system operator to protect users' personal data. Globally, the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is one of the strictest regulations regarding personal data management. Failure to comply with this regulation not only results in legal sanctions, but can also undermine public trust. Therefore, audits are a crucial tool in helping organizations ensure that all aspects of information infrastructure and operations comply with legal provisions and international standards. Furthermore, audits have a strategic function in supporting managerial decision-making. Audit results not only identify weaknesses, but also provide practical recommendations that management can use to improve systems, increase efficiency, and mitigate risks. In the context of digital transformation, where organizations increasingly rely on cloud-based services, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, the need for audits is even greater. The complexity of modern infrastructure demands comprehensive evaluations to prevent gaps that could be exploited by irresponsible parties. Therefore, information infrastructure and operational audits are a critical foundation for organizational sustainability in the digital era, while also serving as a bridge between technical aspects and broader business strategy. Information infrastructure and operational audits are inseparable from the theoretical framework of information technology governance. One of the most widely used frameworks is COBIT, Control Objectives for Information and Related Technology, developed by ISACA. COBIT provides comprehensive guidance on how information technology should be managed to align with organizational objectives. COBIT contains principles that emphasize the importance of ensuring that IT delivers value, manages risk, and optimizes existing resources. Information infrastructure and operational audits can utilize this framework as a reference in evaluating whether existing systems meet an organization's strategic objectives. Besides COBIT, other frequently used international standards include ISO/IC 27001, which focuses on information security management systems, and ITAL, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, which provides guidance on IT service management. This framework provides auditors with a more structured reference for assessing the effectiveness of information controls and operations. Beyond the theoretical framework, audits are also based on the concept of risk inherent in every information system. Risks can manifest in various forms, from technical threats such as cyber attacks and malware to non-technical threats such as human error and procedural errors. In the digital age, cyber attacks are one of the most serious threats. Data from various security agencies shows that the number of cyber attacks continues to increase annually, whether in the form of data theft, ransomware attacks, or distributed denial of service, DDoS. Infrastructure that is not routinely audited has the potential to contain security gaps that can be exploited by irresponsible parties. Therefore, audits play a crucial role in identifying potential risks before they occur. This way, organizations can develop more targeted mitigation strategies, rather than simply reacting after an incident occurs. The practical urgency of information infrastructure and operational audits is also evident in their role in maintaining business continuity. Many modern organizations rely heavily on IT systems to run core services. For example, banks and financial institutions would not be able to operate without electronic transaction systems. Modern hospitals rely on electronic medical record systems to provide services to patients. Even educational institutions now rely heavily on online learning systems and academic databases. If these systems are disrupted, the impact can be far-reaching, resulting not only in financial losses, but also in a loss of public trust. Audits ensure that IT infrastructure maintains a high level of reliability, has a disaster recovery plan in place, and is prepared to deal with various potential disruptions. Equally important, audits also have strategic value in improving operational efficiency. Many organizations have complex IT infrastructures that are not effectively managed. This often leads to waste, both in terms of budget and human resources. Through audits, organizations can determine whether the hardware used is adequate, whether software licenses are properly managed, and whether networks and data centers are functioning optimally. Recommendations resulting from audits can help management take corrective measures, such as server consolidation, virtualization, or even cloud migration. All of this ultimately aims to reduce costs, increase productivity, and ensure that information technology truly adds value to the organization. Furthermore, information infrastructure and operational audits can also be used to measure an organization's level of readiness for digital transformation. Many organizations rush to adopt new technologies without first assessing the readiness of their existing infrastructure and human resources. As a result, digital transformation, which should bring efficiency, instead creates new problems such as inefficiency, security vulnerabilities, or even project failure. Audits can help assess an organization's readiness to adopt new technologies, both in terms of infrastructure capacity, human resource competency, and regulatory and security aspects. This way, digital transformation can be more focused, measurable, and aligned with the organization's needs. Information infrastructure and operational audits are very broad in scope, touching on various technical and managerial aspects of information technology systems. Therefore, these audits are often divided into several types, each with a different evaluation focus. This division is important to ensure the audit process is more focused, in-depth, and tailored to the organization's needs. In general, there are several main types of audits in the context of information infrastructure and operations, namely security audits, performance audits, compliance audits, business continuity audits, and IT asset management audits. Security audits are the most crucial type of audit in the modern era. They focus on assessing the extent to which information systems are protected from various internal and external threats. This audit process includes an evaluation of authentication mechanisms, encryption, access controls, firewalls, and implemented security policies. Auditors typically also conduct vulnerability assessments and penetration tests to identify potential vulnerabilities that could be exploited by attackers. Security audits are becoming increasingly important given the increasing intensity of cyber attacks, especially in vital sectors such as banking, energy, and public services. Performance audits focus on the efficiency and effectiveness of IT infrastructure in supporting an organization's operations. These audits assess whether hardware, software, networks, and data centers are performing to expected standards. For example, whether servers are capable of handling workloads without experiencing significant downtime, or whether the network is capable of providing adequate speed and stability. In performance audits, auditors also assess any inefficiencies that can be corrected, such as excessive server utilization, suboptimal storage capacity, or rarely used but expensively licensed software. Thus, performance audits help organizations optimize IT investments while increasing productivity. Compliance audits aim to ensure that information infrastructure and operational management comply with applicable regulations, standards, and policies. Many organizations, particularly in the banking, telecommunications, and healthcare sectors, are required to comply with specific regulations regarding data security and user privacy. Auditors in this context will assess whether the organization has implemented international standards such as ISO/IEC 27001, the NIST cybersecurity framework, or local regulations such as Indonesia's personal data protection law. Failure to perform a compliance audit can have serious consequences, not only in the form of legal sanctions and fines, but also in the loss of valuable customer trust. A business continuity audit, often associated with a disaster recovery audit, assesses an organization's preparedness to face a major disruption that could disrupt operations. The focus of this audit is to evaluate whether the organization has an adequate disaster recovery plan, whether critical data is securely backed up, and whether recovery procedures are regularly tested. In the real world, many organizations underestimate the importance of a recovery plan and are ultimately overwhelmed when a disaster strikes, whether it be a ransomware attack, a data center fire, or a natural disaster. This audit helps ensure that the organization has a clear and effective strategy for continuing operations despite a major disruption. An IT asset management audit focuses on the inventory and management of all technology assets owned by an organization. IT assets include hardware, software, licenses, and third-party service contracts. The auditor will assess whether the organization maintains accurate asset records, whether software licenses are being used as agreed, and whether unproductive assets are being promptly retired to avoid waste. These audits often provide management with new insights into the true condition of their technology assets, which may have previously gone unmonitored. To illustrate the importance of information infrastructure and operational audits, several real-life case studies can be cited. One example is the 2017 WannaCry ransomware attack, which affected more than 200,000 computers in 150 countries. Many affected organizations lacked adequate security and business continuity audits and were therefore unprepared for the attack. Hospitals in the UK, for example, were forced to postpone thousands of scheduled surgeries because their medical records systems were compromised. This case demonstrates how the absence of systematic audits can cause significant financial and reputational damage. Another example is the aviation sector. Several major airlines experienced disruptions to their reservation systems due to data center server failures. This incident resulted in thousands of flight delays, billions of rupiah in losses, and customer outrage. If regular performance and business continuity audits had been conducted, server infrastructure weaknesses could have been identified earlier, allowing preventative measures to be implemented before disaster struck. In Indonesia, several cases of disruptions to public service systems also offer important lessons. For example, the paralyzed immigration system at a major airport caused long queues and inconvenienced passengers. Audits of information infrastructure and operations in immigration systems may be able to detect potential failures early and provide technical recommendations to improve their reliability.